where blood was spilled by day, rain and silence ruled the deck by night. This was no mere ship. It was a floating fortress of greed, fear, and death, a place where every rope told a story, and every plank hid a secret. A pirate ship in the golden age of sail was more than wood and canvas. It was a weapon, a home, and a coffin, all in one. Every choice in its design served a purpose: to chase, to kill, to plunder, and to survive. Some captains chose the sloop, light and narrow, fast enough to appear on the horizon and vanish before a warship could give chase. Its shallow draft let it slip into hidden coves, perfect for ambush and escape. Others sailed the brigantine, a balanced predator with 2 masts and the strength to carry both speed and loot. And then there were the galleons, towering behemoths bristling with cannons, not made for running, but for staring down enemies and daring them to fire first. Every ship reflected its captain's soul: the speed-hungry hunter, the cautious strategist, or the iron-fisted ruler who relied on fear as much as wind. Beneath the deck lay the ship's real secrets. To outsiders, it looked messy. Barrels stacked unevenly, ropes coiled at random, sails patched and worn. But in truth, it was a labyrinth of deception. Hidden compartments were built into bulkheads, storing silver coins, stolen gold, or jewels too dangerous to display. Beneath the floorboards lay weapons, ready to be drawn the instant boarding was ordered. Crates of contraband, tobacco from forbidden ports, spices stolen from distant traders, sat in shadow, while sometimes human cargo endured the voyage in airless silence. A pirate ship was designed to hide as well as it killed. Above, the rigging stretched like a web of rope and willpower. Sailors moved through it barefoot, gripping the hemp with calloused hands, their balance as sure in the air as on the deck. From the crow's nest, the lookout became the eyes of the entire crew, searching for sails that meant prey or danger. In battle, the rigging became a highway for attack, pirates swinging down to enemy decks, cutting lines to cripple sails, or hurling firepots into chaos. Every knot, every rope was a lifeline, and one slip meant a plunge into the sea's black mouth. The ship's teeth were its cannons. When the gunports opened, they revealed rows of iron mouths, each one capable of tearing a hole through a hull or slicing through sails and rigging with chain shot. Bags of nails, stones, or jagged scrap were sometimes loaded, meant not for wood, but for flesh. The arms locker was a shrine to violence. Muskets in neat rows, pistols ready to fire, cutlasses sharpened until they gleamed in the lantern light. Boarding axes were honed for rope and bone alike. On a pirate ship, you were never more than an arm's reach from death. Life on board was ruled by hierarchy and fear. The captain was part warrior, part gambler, holding power only as long as victories came and loot flowed. The quartermaster was the law, deciding punishments, dividing the spoils, and often feared more than the captain himself. The gunner was master of destruction, his skin stained with powder, his ears half-deaf from cannon thunder. The cook, usually a man too injured for battle, toiled in the sweltering galley to feed a crew that might kill him over an extra ration. The navigator held the ship's fate in his charts and calculations, guiding her by the stars and currents. Every man had his place, and every place was dangerous. Loyalty was a fragile thing, bought with shares of gold and broken with whispers of mutiny. When night fell, the ship transformed. The cries of orders and the boom of guns gave way to a heavy stillness. The sea slapped gently against the hull, the wind hummed through the rigging, and lantern light threw long, swaying shadows. Rain might fall in a soft mist, rinsing away the day's blood, but never the memory. Some men knelt in prayer, murmuring to gods who might not listen. Others sat cross-legged on the deck, sharpening blades until they could shave hair from an arm. A few simply stared at the horizon, knowing that tomorrow could bring both fortune and the noose. In that silence, the ship spoke. It groaned and creaked as if remembering every battle, every scream, every last breath taken on its decks. It was alive, not in flesh and blood, but in the will of its crew and the history soaked into its planks. A pirate ship was built on contradictions, freedom bought with discipline, wealth paid for in blood, and survival that depended on the very men who might one day slit your throat. Its timbers swelled and shrank with the sea's moods. Its sails breathed with the wind. Its ropes strained like muscles in a living body. Every rope was tied with human ambition. Every nail was hammered with the sound of distant cannon fire in the carpenter's mind. Every step across the deck was a step into history, a history written in blood, gold, and salt water, and every deck was a place where death had walked. The anatomy of a pirate ship was not drawn in dockyard blueprints. It was written in scars, in the marks left on the wood, on the men, and on the ocean itself. The ship carried its past in silence, and only those who had stood upon it could ever truly hear its voice. To sail aboard one was to live in the shadow of death, not fearing it but sharing the same deck,